you first start, the foundation got to be, you got to understand that person first.
Yes.
When you have a person that's aggressively South Bronx and who's Jamaica raised by women, sisters, and moms, you don't even want that drama. You don't even want it like he was.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Bird 91. We're talking to you guys about, obviously, Rich Dollarz breaks down Erica Mena and Safaree perfectly about their invulnerability, or at least the way they handle conflict. I think this is a really powerful moment that Rich Dollarz kind of exposes us to, because he's given us a little bit of an understanding of where these two are coming from. Someone who's very aggressive in there, and I say aggressive in a light way, not aggressive in terms of actual physicality, but in the way they approach certain things, or it can come off as abrasive, versus somebody who's been around women their entire life. Not saying that he's not he's free from any blame, not at all, but he's been around women all entire life. Maybe it's been a bit more passive in the way they've actually dealt with him. Maybe there's even been some resentment in terms of the way they've communicated with him in the past. Whatever it is, he can see that there's the way that he deals with things is he walks away. His fight or flight is to avoid the situation rather than dealing with it. And I think we just saw that once again. It was so clear. Erica started talking. He decided he was going to avoid the situation and not deal with it. And that's probably been a story of his life for a very, very long time when it comes to Safaree. Now, I'm going to hold both of them accountable and hold them to a particular standard to help you guys understand how this can be an unhealthy precedent to set in a relationship and how quickly this goes downhill. So if you're new to the channel, like it, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and stay loaded. And don't forget as well, if you haven't already done, make sure you guys join our Discord community. This is where we talk about all different types of shows. We talk about love and marriage. We talk about Real Housewives. We talk about Ready to Love. We talk about Put a Ring on It, Married at First Sight. So many different shows that we talk about on our Discord. So join the community if you love talking about TV shows. You want to have your say. You need that place to vent. That is a place to do it. All right. We appreciate you. All right. Let's get into this particular video and let's break some things down. Love what Rich Dollarz just said there, because he gave us a really good insight into these two and how they handle conflict. One of the things that's really difficult in relationships isn't that we don't love each other. It's not that we don't care about each other. It's about the way we handle conflict and what we interpret from the conflict. You might have heard me say this before if you followed me long enough. We interpret behavior in our own particular way through our own experiences that we've had, and that then our interpretation begins to inform how we feel about a situation. So I can start to feel annoyed. I can start to feel disrespected. I can start to feel that you don't care about me. I can feel abandoned. In this particular video, Erica makes it very clear that she felt abandoned by Safaree in that moment. She felt abandoned in that moment, and he was like, "Don't say abandoned." I'll show you a little clip, and you'll see what we're talking about here, right? And the reason being, again, is because he doesn't agree with how she feels.
I'm not going to slut myself out, though.
We're going through a divorce. You filed for divorce.
That was your, okay, I filed for divorce. Let me turn up. So why did you?
Okay, I didn't get the right part of the clip, but I'll play it for you in a second or two. So she talks about, obviously, in that scene, actually, in fact, that's a really good part, actually, where she talks about, obviously, you've decided to go away and slut yourself out. Bear in mind, actually, she asked for a divorce, which rightly so she should have, because I don't think he's responsible enough to be in a marriage with her at the moment. And, rightly so. But if you ask for a divorce, sis, then you can't hold him for the behaviors he's going to do. Now, I think one of the things that is annoying is that if you're bringing girls to the same spot your girl is in, that's madness to me. It's irresponsible. And actually, it's dangerous. Because really what you're trying to do is you're trying to incite violence. And emotional violence, I would say, because you want that person to be stoked by what you're seeing. If you can avoid it at all costs, you should avoid it. Doesn't make no sense. Yeah, you don't have to bring girls that you're dealing with to the same spot or whatever. But at the same time, we need Erica also to chill, because, baby, if you ask for a divorce, you've asked to be separate. At that point, they don't owe you no loyalty. At that point, they can do whatever they want, aka they are single. Baby, I need you to relax. If the more you get frustrated and angry about it, and you show that, it's the more that you're trying to show us, at least who are watching from the outside, that what did you do the divorce to hopefully wake him up? Let me tell you this now as well, people. Do not do things like this. I'm not saying that Erica did this. Don't throw divorces. I'm going to leave you to make people wake up. If you're saying it, you mean it. Don't say it to wake people up because they might not wake up. They could be in a coma for all they care. All right. And they might not hear you. And then you're hurt at the end because you're trying to manipulate the situation and get the person into a particular place. Just don't do it. We can talk about that on another day on Dark Arts channel, but I wanted to bring that forth and talk about it. Now we've got a little clip. Let's play a little clip.
It means I left and that's it.
You did leave and that's it.
Using like a words like abandonment and like things that like that's not.
You did leave and that's it.
No.
And the world saw you, Safaree.
Now, as you can hear her saying, obviously, you abandoned me, you left me. The friend even saying that, yes, you're using words like abandon. And the difficulty with these kind of situations is that people interpret things differently, and certain words are trigger. For instance, bear in mind, obviously, Rich Dollarz really let us know that he grew up around women and his mother. The word abandon could be a trigger. But if he doesn't explain that, Erica's not going to know that, right? That's what she's genuinely feeling in that moment, that she feels abandoned in that situation. And maybe for him, at the moment, he's feeling triggered now because it's like, you don't know what abandonment looks like. If I was abandoning you, I wouldn't be here at all. I wouldn't be around you. I wouldn't be this, because that's what he might have experienced. So his his interpretation of what abandon means could really be playing a big role in how he sees this moment. So when he starts feeling like, no, you don't know what abandonment means, and not saying it, by the way, he's not saying it and not communicating that physically, but he walks away. Now, when he walks away, he's like, I just want to avoid the situation, right? And she's left feeling frustrated and angry because she feels like she's not being heard in that moment. You see how quickly it can turn into something when people interpret behavior and interpret words and then don't actually communicate and say, hey, what does that actually mean to you? Because to me, abandonment means this. This is a really key lesson for a lot of us. Before you jump, you might want to ask that question. What does it mean for you? Because let me tell you something. What it means to me, this is what abandonment means. And it feels disrespectful because I haven't done it to you. You know what I mean? We aren't together anymore. I haven't left you and the kids. I'm not saying that he hasn't done this or whatever. I'm just saying about interpretation of what he believes to be abandonment could be a part of this as well. Let's watch this little clip here as well. And let's watch how he walks away from this moment.
Where's Safaree? He has not been home. He was gyrating all over.
That you have a broken home because of your actions and you're not man enough to sit there and fix.
I want you to pause this now. I want you to watch something that's happening at the moment. I'm going to blow it up bigger so you can actually see this. This is no longer a conversation. It's a fight. It's no longer a conversation. It's a fight. And many couples get into this space because what it is about being right. And it's so hard not to get into the space because when you're hurt, you want to be heard and you want to be seen. And the objective of being understood goes out the window, and the objective of being right comes into play. And that's where we lose the aspect of what this relationship is really about. Now, of course, if you've got a partner who genuinely doesn't care, you're going to get into space quite a lot, right? It's going to be very difficult to. And I can understand why Erica may be in that space. But if you look at their body language, you'll notice something. They're not even looking at each other. Look, Safaree's not looking at her. She's not even looking at him. This is not a conversation anymore. This is a fight, right? At this point, it's about who's going to be heard the more. Who's got the loudest voice? Who's going to say the most hurtful or the most crazy thing? When you can't look me in the face, you go and say some foul stuff. That's why, when couples start to look at each other, when couples sit down and are talking, when couples put their hand on each other, it changes the dynamic of that conversation because now we're creating this intimacy. We're also creating this softness in this moment. And it's really important, right? And we'll drop a part 2 of this. I definitely want to keep this nice and short so that you guys can take in the information and it's not all too much. But just watch this last part here.
Like
your broken home.
in the house.
Yeah, after a while, you made my
That's
pregnancy hell.
Okay, Safaree. Out of here, bro.
You living your best life, flying in bitches. Out of here.
So now the objective of wanting to, and if, because I didn't show the clip, you might not see. I'll rewind it so you can actually see it, what happened. Okay, it started off with her looking elsewhere, and as soon as she wanted to get at him, she then turned her head and it came at him direct. Now, many people are going to say, well, that's how I felt at the moment. I was angry, because I have every right to feel the way I felt because you've done me dirty, But do you want to be seen? Do you want to be heard? Or do you want to fight and be right? Because if you want to be fight and be right, you ain't going to win that partner over. Many times we think that we're justified in our action, and I believe you are justified in your action. But will it get the result you want? If it doesn't get the result that you want, you need to chill. And I'm talking about him as well, because does it get the result that he wants? By him not acknowledging how she feels, is it going to get him the result that he wants? No. So neither of us are winning because neither of us are getting the result that we want. He's had to walk away, right? Walk away and go and sit down somewhere else, right? And you're not getting your point across either. You're not being heard either in that moment. And now it's a slugfest between the two of us, right? Because neither of us are trying to understand the other person. We're trying to be right. See, if I'm trying to be understood, I'm gonna say, hey, look, you know what? As she started off with, hey, look, you know what? I ain't gonna lie, I know we're getting on divorce, but I want to be real with you. You know, in that moment when you did X, Y, and Z, that actually really hurt me. You know, and I know I can't hold you because I have issued a divorce, but I wanted to let you know that's how I felt. Right? You keep it nice, you keep it soft, you keep it plain, right? And then if he then again uses it as a moment to strike you in your vulnerability, you now know this person isn't someone who really takes care of your vulnerability and doesn't care. So you don't have to have any more conversations after that. And of course, that's not a one-time deal. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you're gonna have to do it several times over. But you be thinking the other person is the issue. And I keep saying to people, sometimes you be thinking that they're the issue. Deal with you first. Are you coming correctly to the table? Just because you're justified and just because you were right in the scenario, how you handle it can make you wrong. Let me say it again for you. You could be justified and you could be right in terms of the actual scenario, but how you bring it to the table can now make you wrong because the way you're coming at the situation. Let's have a little look, and then we'll end it here and we'll do a part 2. I want to keep it nice and short and succinct.
Enough to sit there and fix your broken home. Yeah, after a while,
Look,
you made
boom. There we go. Now the head's turned. Now the energy shifted. Now the words are toning. Now that down is effing and blinding. Boom. Now, of course, she's frustrated, she's angry, and I totally understand that. And I'm not saying, again, that we can't feel frustrated and angry. But I always love this quote, be angry, but sin not. What it means is you can be angry. But again, it's about managing the emotions in that moment. In a high arousal situation, if you want to be heard, it's going to be very difficult now because your emotions are very high, my emotions are very high. I'm probably going to say something, you're going to say something. And guess what? In a high arousal environment like this now, which it has become because we both began to feel defensive in this moment, nobody wins, right? He walks away, she's frustrated and angry, she's cussing and everything like that. Nobody wins, right? So we'll do a part 2 of this because I think it's a really great topic to talk about. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you like it, you share, you subscribe, you click on that bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you returnees who already know what it is, baby, you got the minerals. And don't forget as well, join our Discord if you haven't. Join our Patreon through to get to our Discord. We love having more people around. We're starting to grow a really great community where we can talk about TV shows and different things as well around relationships. If that's for you, then come on and join. Much love and appreciation. We'll see you around very, very soon.